Hi, this is Georgia with Enough Faith for Today. We're going to jump into day 51. Do the New You. It's Pastor Stephen Verdict. Okay, we were talking about him being on the island and depression. I really let loose on that one, didn't I? On the way home, I said, Holly, I think I need to get some help. I don't think I'm in a good place. She didn't rub it in my face. She didn't say, I told you so, even though she had told me several times that she thought I might need to consider meeting with a counselor to process all the pressure I was under. I always resisted that for the same reason we often resist getting help. I thought if I just pushed through, tried harder, hit more goals, and improved my environment, my feelings and thoughts and insecurities would take care of themselves. Oh, if I work harder, I can fix this. It is always a partnership. You and God can fix this. Relationship, not religion. I was on the treadmill of chasing and never quite catching up with future you. I talked about earlier. The problem was within me though, not around me. I I saw that clearly on the island. My mindset up until that point was that if I could just reach a certain goal or experience a greater level of success, then I would be enough. I would be worthy and I would be happy. But I was bearing some stuff I needed to deal with and carry some stuff I needed to let go. And it was burning me out. So it was burning me out. You ever feel burnout? Like, nothing left. Now, it's not that my life was a disaster where everything was falling apart. I'm not saying every day was dark, gloomy pit of despair. I experienced amazing moments while carrying all of these burdens. But I knew that in order to be the man I wanted my kids to see, and hopefully someday they would want to imitate a little bit, there was some work I needed to do. Not work on the church, but work on myself. And not just to have moments of worldly happiness either, but to have God's joy as the reference point for my soul. God's joy as the reference point for my soul. That is so important. It is simply stated in the Bible, and it is simple. Keep it simple, servant. Love God above all else, and everything else will be added unto you. And the first thing you get is that peace and that joy. Oh, priceless. The old mindset was killing me, and the new me was calling me. But it wouldn't come easy. First, I had to find someone to talk to. That required admitting to another human being that I needed help. For someone who likes to be thought of as the strong one, that was hard to do, but I did it. I reached out to a friend and asked who that therapist you met with years ago was. Would you make an introduction for me? My friend was glad to help. I turned on It turned out that although your joy is your job, when you really commit to it, you'll usually find allies who will assist you in your battle. When you seek help, God will provide it. That began a process of weekly therapy that I've been committed to for over 5 years now. I won't spend too much time talking about it here because so many of the lessons that I've already shared have been the fruit of that life-altering process. According to my wife, other people who know me well, and the inward witnesses of the Holy Spirit, I'm in a much better place now. not only because of therapy, but because of commitment to the deep analytical work of putting off old ways and doing me and putting on new ones. The old ways of doing me and putting on new ones. Take off the old and put on the new. Learning about ourselves is not contrary to following Christ. It is the consequence of following Christ. God is a God of truth. The truth sets us free. God uses many messages to deliver his truth. He uses a donkey to show Balaam his blind spots, and he can certainly use trained professionals to show you yours. My point isn't that you need therapy. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. Maybe you tried it and it didn't work. Or maybe you tried it but you didn't do the work. I don't know. I've learned that for some people therapy is a tool, for others it becomes a weapon. After processing all their problems, they come to the conclusion that talking about it isn't helping, and they feel even worse. Regardless of the tools you use, you have to own your emotions. You have to understand something about yourself, about your upbringing, about your mental model, about your personality, about trauma from the past. This is part of the hard work of happiness because you are reclaiming the narrative of you, the new you. And that's a good thing. That's a godly thing. I don't know why. The new you. Oh, I got wrote here. Wonderful, wild godchild. That's what I've been saying. I feel like a wonderful, wild godchild. And let me just add this in here because nobody is better than anybody else. I don't ever want anybody to think that I think more highly of myself than anybody. Because as far as I'm concerned, the heroin addict that just got saved from an overdose last night, their life has just as much value as mine. And I remember I wasn't always a wonderful, wild godchild. There was a time when I was a worldly wild child. And I did stuff that, you know, isn't right. Period. I've made mistakes. And I had 2 years where I really just wasn't with God at all. Completely turned from him. But the great thing about God and Jesus is that they're right there. They're right there standing behind you. They're just waiting for you to turn around so that they can help heal your wounds and fill them with peace and joy. Remember, it's about relationship, not religion. God bless y'all. Bye.